17th day the Clarion has been at sea between Centelina and Fernando de Noronha, and we have been followed by an enormous school of fish, yellowfin tunny, which have been following us night and day and fishing alongside the boat for flying fish. It's quite enjoyable and it keeps us busy virtually all day just watching the antics of these fish. One doesn't know where they're going to jump out, so I'm just focusing the camera up front in the hope that we'll get some action for you. Stop night, flying fish jump onto the boat, trying to get away from the tunny, and this morning we've got, I think there are 3 or 4 of them on the boat. Thelma's going to toss them in, one at a time, and I'm going to try and focus on where it falls to show you how quickly the tunny come up and grab them. Let me just zoom out a bit. Okay, Phil. Go on. Did you see that? Okay.
Another one.
Next one. Go on. This one is a very small one. I don't know how well they'll see him, but let's try. Go on. Sorry for the very fast camera panning, but when we're following fish, this one, hold on Phil, this one is truly minute. He's about 1 inch long. Let's see how well they see him. Come on. Hard to believe, eh?
That's a big guy, Laurie, can you film it?
I don't know whether you can see into the water what we're looking at all the time, but we can actually see the fish through the water because the water is that clear, but with the camera I can't see it through the lens.
Then just look back there, Laurie, and you can see them in the waves.
Okay, Thomas says look back, you can see them through the waves. I'm perched on my knees on the side there, holding the camera with one hand and hanging on with the other. Let me just stop and turn around.
Okay, put it away. See it. Okay, wait for the next one.
There, you might pick them up. They swim in formation, hundreds and hundreds of them on each side of the boat. We only took the camera out, there you might see them flashing past. We only took the camera out to try and get a record of this because it's something that I don't think people would believe. Unfortunately, we didn't have the camera the other night when we were sitting having sundowners, and all the fish suddenly started going crazy. Just hold on, Thomas, want something? Thomas says she can see them clearly. I can't see them through the viewfinder in the wave. And we have no means of editing on the boat, so we'll just have to hope that it comes out. Anyway, back to the story. The water actually went mad. Thelma and I almost dropped our glasses with the noise, and what happened was an incredibly big marlin came up into these fish and started fishing with them, and they were shooting around the keel of the boat looking for protection. The splashing that you're witnessing now, or watching now, are the yellowfin tunny grabbing flying fish, which are trying to take off, but I don't know if I can zoom in on them. They try and take off ahead of them to get away, but they don't always make it. I'll zoom in and just hope that something is...
Oh, gee. No, hang on, we'll get another one. They'll come out of this way. Get those jumping out there.
The splashes which you see are actual strikes where the yellowfin are taking the flying fish.
That's beautiful.
It's just never ending, and it's been doing this for 17 days now. We're almost at the end. Day after tomorrow we'll be at Fernando, and we don't know what's going to happen to these fish. But catching them is so easy that you don't even have to bait your hook. You just dangle it over the side on a short line, and the moment it touches the water, they grab it, you pull the fish out. It's that easy. Just hope we get some action in the lens. don't know where the next strike will be. Okay, I think that's all for now. Focusing down in the hope that we'll get a clear view as they come streaking across. There were a couple there. They usually come past 10 at a time.
There they come.
There they go. This is the bow wave that is flying past the boat.
Oh, that's a big one.
We're sailing in 25 knots of wind with a reduced genoa and an old jib of our original boat. You can see it's all covered in oil that was involved in the sinking of the original boat. And the two of them pull the boat along beautifully at, let's see if we can get to the speed. Now breaking my neck with this. 6.5 knots. Okay, I'm going to go down below with the camera. We can only use it when we have the engine running because we need 220 volts on it. We don't have a battery for it. So I'm going to go below and try and give you some idea of the rolling action. But today we're steering downwind because we're running the engine, the freezer and the water maker all at once. And we take water in the side of the boat, and if it rolls too much it cavitates and draws air. So we've connected this hose here to just show that the water flows continuously. The moment that hose stops, we've got to shut down and get rid of the air in the system. It's only happened a couple of times, but we can't afford to damage anything by running it without cooling water. So instead we turn downwind and take a smooth ride. So I can't show you the real rolling action until we go off wind again. But then we don't have a camera. So we'll see what happens when we go below. To show you the self-steering device working. The vane is pushed over by the wind if the boat goes off course, as you see. It then transfers the energy down into the rudder, which then turns the steering wheel, and this is what we then see. So the wheel responds to the rudder, and it's quite handy if we need to take over for any reason to correct a sail that's backwinding or anything. We just grab the rudder, don't have to disconnect anything, and just force it over against the self-steerer. But it all works very well, touch wood. You'll notice as the boat rolls, so the water moves, and in order to catch it, you've got to be quite adept at moving the glass or cup or whatever it is, and just pick up the stance that Thelma's adopting here. She's got her legs spread out as far as she can to keep her balance, and her elbows hard on the counter to try and make sure that she doesn't fly backwards when the boat rolls against her. Let's see what happens if I try and focus through the window, through the porthole. No, you can't see it because of the sun. The stove being gimbaled obviously remains level on top all the time, and we've never had an accident with that so far, touch wood again. Bear in mind that we are 18 days or 17 days away from our last port, and yesterday we had, and this is the remains of an apple tart with fresh cream, that's Ultramel fresh cream, right out in the middle of nowhere. And I must say we live extremely well, we're eating well, we're exercising continuously because you never stop moving. Thelma's tummy is flatter than it's ever been, and unfortunately I've got the camera, otherwise I'd love to show you my flat tummy as well. The view from the companionway of the veggies hanging in their net, and in the background through the front window you can see the sea. I'm trying to keep level, which is actually quite easy. We've become so used to it now we can walk with a full cup of coffee without spilling it, without even realizing what you're doing. You just get the feel of it, and you counter the rolling motion continuously. I'll try and hold the camera as if it's attached to the boat and see what the difference is. But remember, this is a very mild motion we're going through now. Oh, by the way, the temperature in here at the moment is... Sorry.
At
29.8 degrees centigrade, and it's 9:30 in the morning, and all the hatches and portholes are open, and there's a 25 knot breeze outside, so that'll give you some idea of the heat that we're experiencing right now. But we're not complaining. The boat's moving fast and everything is going well. Well, that's all for now, thanks. The pressure cleaning took